Have you ever noticed that the more money you make, the less you actually seem to have left over at the end of the month? You finally get that promotion, you get that raise, and for a few weeks, you feel rich. But fast forward 6 months, and your bank account looks exactly the same as it did before. Where did all that extra money go? What if the financial system has secretly designed a trap to make sure your raise goes straight into their pockets, instead of yours? I will tell you a story. Zack stared at the 2 numbers on his screen, shaking his head in disbelief. He dragged his mouse across the spreadsheet, highlighting a column labeled, "The Monthly Illusion." The math was ruthless. It showed how a simple $600 car payment wasn't actually costing $600. When he factored in the lost compound interest over 10 years, that single piece of metal on wheels was quietly draining over $100,000 of future wealth. It was a perfectly legal disappearing act. Zack closed his laptop and looked around. The Chicago streetlights flickered through the blinds of his dimly lit apartment. Rain tapped lightly against the glass. He was a data analyst, trained to find the hidden stories inside raw numbers. And right now, the numbers were telling him a tragedy. It started 3 weeks ago. Both Zack and his friend Mark received the exact same news at work, a $15,000 yearly raise. Mark celebrated immediately. He felt rich. The very next weekend, he traded in his reliable old sedan for a brand new luxury SUV. He upgraded his apartment to a building downtown with a rooftop pool. When Zack asked him how he could afford it, Mark just smiled and said the magic words of the American middle class. "It's only $600 a month, bro. With the raise, I can easily afford the monthly payment." It sounded so logical. Mark had calculated his new income, subtracted the new bills, and saw that he could still cover his groceries and rent. He was living the dream. But Zack did the exact opposite. He took his $15,000 raise, set up an automatic transfer, and funneled every single extra dollar directly into his investment accounts. He kept his old car. He stayed in his regular apartment. On paper, Mark looked like the successful one. But Zack knew the truth. The next evening, Zack opened a blank Excel sheet. He needed to show Mark what was actually happening behind the scenes. He typed in a single phrase: "Lifestyle creep, the silent wealth killer." It happens when your standard of living goes up at the exact same speed as your income. You make an extra $1,000 a month, so you suddenly find reasons to spend an extra $1,000 a month. But the real trap is how they sell it to you. Banks and car dealerships don't sell you the total price of the car anymore. They don't tell you that you are spending $40,000. They chop that massive number up into a bite-sized monthly payment. They trick your brain into focusing on the monthly cash flow instead of the massive total debt. As long as you can make the monthly payment, you feel like you are winning. But Zack's spreadsheet showed the dark side of that math. Mark wasn't buying a lifestyle. He was renting a lifestyle, using his future freedom as the down payment. Zack invited Mark over and turned his laptop around. "Look at this," Zack said, pointing to a graph on the screen. "You think your new car costs $600 a month. But you are ignoring the most important rule of money." Zack showed him the comparison. If Mark had kept his old car and invested that $600 every month into a simple index fund, the math was staggering. Over the next 10 years, that money wouldn't just sit there. It would grow, compound, and double. By taking on that monthly payment, Zack explained, his voice serious, you didn't just buy a shiny new car. You robbed your future self of over $100,000 in investment growth. That car is costing you $100,000. Mark stared at the screen, the color slowly draining from his face. The rooftop pool and the leather seats suddenly didn't feel like a reward anymore. They felt like a cage. He realized that his big promotion hadn't made him richer. It had just made him a better customer for the banks. 5 years later, the difference was undeniable. Both men were still making the exact same high salary, but their lives looked completely different. Mark was exhausted. He was stuck in a high-stress job because he had to keep making those expensive monthly payments. He couldn't quit. He couldn't take a break. He was a prisoner to his own lifestyle. Zack, on the other hand, was free. By refusing to increase his lifestyle when his income went up, his investments had skyrocketed. He had options. He had peace of mind. He owned his time. That is the great illusion of the monthly payment. It makes you feel wealthy today while secretly guaranteeing that you will be broke tomorrow. The amount of money you make does not determine your wealth. The amount of money you keep does. The final takeaway is simple. Stop asking yourself if you can afford the monthly payment, and start asking yourself if you can afford the opportunity cost. Don't let a raise trick you into upgrading your lifestyle before you upgrade your freedom. If you are ready to stop falling for the monthly payment trap and start building real wealth, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss my next video, where we will expose another data secret the financial industry is hiding from you. I want to hear from you. What is the one monthly subscription or payment you're going to cancel today to buy back your future? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.